Here we will review how to schedule and host a webinar-style meeting. There are a few important differences to keep in mind when scheduling a webinar meeting over a standard meeting. In a webinar, attendees do not have the ability to share live video or their screen. Attendees only have access to audio, chat, and the raise hand feature. There is also the option to have panelists attend the meeting in a co-hosting capacity. Also, keep in mind that there can be multiple hosts per meeting and that hosts hold ultimate control over panelist and attendee permissions. Now let's get started with scheduling a meeting through the IPVideoTalk user portal. First, move your mouse over Schedule a Meeting and select Webinar. Enter the webinar subject, organizer, and host email. The email defaults to the IPVideoTalk account owner. However, any email address can be entered here as the host email. Next, select the time zone. There are a wide variety of time zone options available. The option you select will be displayed on the webinar registration page. Then select the date, time, and meeting duration. Next, select the server location. It is recommended to choose the server closest to the expected majority of webinar attendees. As an option, you can password protect the webinar. Only those invited or who have registered would receive the password. It is also recommended to include an agenda. The agenda will appear on the webinar registration page as well as the meeting email notifications. You can also select whether or not to send a meeting reminder email 15 minutes prior to the start of the webinar. Now we move on to meeting controls. You can mute all attendees upon entry, allow or block the chat, display or hide the attendee list from other participants, or enable or disable a beep notification every time an attendee joins or leaves the meeting. Next, add any panelists to the meeting. A panelist shares host controls, including video and screen sharing, as well as audio controls. Below this, invite the attendees using their email address. If you don't have a predetermined list of attendees, you can leave this blank. If you are opening your meeting to registrations, select the option Must Register to Join Meeting. This will issue a custom registration link to the webinar. Lastly, you can include a customized thank you email and preview it. To finish, click Schedule. Once the webinar is scheduled, you can return to the meeting page of your online portal to view the general webinar information. Here is a sample webinar registration page. All that is required from an individual in order to register for the webinar is their name, email, and the country they are located in. Once individuals begin to register for the webinar, you can view the progress and details through the online portal on the Meetings page. You will be able to see the number of current registrants and can also click into the meeting details to see the details of each registration. To view the registrants, click on the registrants link at the top right corner. To download the list in an Excel spreadsheet format, click the Registrants List link on the right-hand side. Now we will review additional in-meeting controls that are exclusively available to the meeting host. We will start at the bottom right. Hold your mouse over the Participant Controls icon. Here you will have access to all meeting controls in one location. You can mute or unmute all attendees and lower all hands that may have been raised. You can also select Mute Attendees on Entry to ensure that any new meeting attendees enter the meeting with their audio muted. Click here to allow or block attendees from seeing all other attendees in the meeting list. And click here to allow or disable the chat. Additionally, you can add new attendees to the meeting by clicking Invite Participants. You can also access similar meeting controls through the panel on the right side by holding your mouse over the menu bars. Below this, you can also control your own audio and video through the webcam and microphone icons. Additionally, you can control individual meeting attendees. Hover your mouse over the arrow to mute or unmute the attendee. You also have the ability to set an attendee as a panelist or remove them from the meeting completely. If you choose to change an attendee into a panelist, they will be given secondary host controls. This action cannot be undone once selected. In the chat section, the host can choose to chat the group or chat to individual attendees. Additionally, the host can disable or enable the chat, as well as clear the chat history. Lastly, to end or exit the meeting, click the arrow icon in the bottom left corner. After the webinar has concluded, you can log into your IPVideoTalk account to view the webinar performance and download meeting reports. To locate the meeting reports, click on History. Locate the webinar and click in for details. Attendee information is across the top, and downloadable reports are on the right. Reports include a meeting detail report, chat content, and participant and registrant lists.